Sometimes betrayal doesn't come from strangers. It comes from someone who might be sleeping right beside you every night. And in this story for today, that betrayal turned deadly. A man lost his life not to an enemy, but to someone whom he trusted the most. This is the murder case of Ganeshan Muniandy. Hey you guys, and welcome to the GMC channel where I bring you the ghost, the mystery, the crime. And I am Esther Vincent, also known as Leah Mia on social media. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I hope you guys stick around till the end. The crime today, it's going to be a crazy one. A lot of names involved, and the planning that they did, I got no words for that. But I hope you guys, stick around till the end. You would like it. I hope you guys like it. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe, do like, do comment, and share it with others. And that's about it for today. Let's get into today's crime. Ganeshan Muniandy. He was a regular Malaysian guy, an ordinary person. He worked as a lorry driver. He was friendly, and he was living with his wife named Annama. She was in her 30s, and they had a toddler daughter together. They lived in their home at Block A, Flat Petaling Utama, Petaling Jaya, Selangor. He had what most would assume to be a normal marriage, a normal married life with his wife. But as they say, what looks good on the outside might just have a huge storm brewing within. And in Ganeshan's case, that storm had a name: 21-year-old G. Puganeswaran. Who is Puganeswaran? Well, Puganeswaran wasn't just some stranger off the street, but he was close to the couple. So close, in fact, he was their literal neighbor. Yeah, the house right beside their house. The flat right beside their flat, right? But what Ganeshan didn't know, or maybe refused to believe, is that while he's out working for the family, his wife, Annama, and this Puganeswaran guy, they were having an affair behind Ganeshan's back. Yeah, literally. Romance blossomed between them, I guess. I do need to remind you that Annama, she's married, she has a toddler, and she's in her 30s. And this guy, her neighbor, Puganeswaran, he's just 21-year-old, very, very young guy. And things has been happening between them, because let me tell you, this was not a one-time fling. The two would be messaging each other, meeting up, and get this. Whenever Ganeshan is out working or whenever he's out of the house, Annama and Puganeswaran get together and they have like a drinking session. Alcohol, whatever, having a fun time, merry old time together. Can you believe that? Like, poor Ganeshan going out, working, or whatever, just going out, and all this is happening behind his back, like right in his house, right beside his house. Oh, poor guy, poor Ganeshan. But like every secret affair, it's not going to stay secret forever. It's not going to stay hidden forever. Soon, the neighbors started talking about it, and whispers started reaching Ganeshan's ear, and he confronted his wife, Annama, about it. And as expected, she denied all of it. She denied everything. Of course she did. Like, I hate cheaters. Like, I absolutely hate cheaters. I do not, I just hate cheaters. Like, I hate people who choose to cheat. I hate people who think of cheating. I hate people, the other party, who knows this person is married and has kids or whatever, who's already in a relationship but still choose to have a relationship with them. I hate them too. Like, I hate all forms of cheating. Like, just don't do it. It's never going to end well. If things are not going good, just leave. Just leave already. Find a solution and just leave. Right? Now back to the story where Ganeshan, the husband, he confronted his wife after hearing whispers about her and the neighbor guy, and she denied it, all of it. Even though she had denied all of it, the tension in their household has started to grow day by day, and Ganeshan, the husband, is on full suspicious mode at this point. All right, now I'm going to bring up another person in this story. We've already got the three guys, right? Ganeshan, the husband, his wife, Annama, and their neighbor, Puganeswaran, the 21-year-old. Now, his friend, another teenager named Harichandran. So they are friends. He is just 18-year-old. The Harichandran guy, the new guy, he is just 18-year-old teen. So these are the four very main individuals connected to all that's about to happen in a bit. So yeah, husband, wife, wife's lover, lover's friend. Four people. Now in this four people, this fourth guy, he introduces another three teenagers. I know, bear with me guys, like bear with me really. These teenagers, they were very young, they were just 16 and 15 at that time, and these three would be dragged into this crime case by this fourth guy. So these three individuals, their names were Geethavan, anak lelaki Ravi, Vignesan, anak lelaki Yogaraju, and Darshan, anak lelaki Kanagaraju. I will mainly refer to them as like teenagers or accomplices, so that will be easy, but these four characters, they are important. With all these characters introduced, let's go to the 15th of February 2012. Harichandran, the fourth guy, the friend, he invites these three teenagers to his house. They were hanging out for a bit, and after a while, this Harichandran guy brings these three teenagers to his friend's flat, Puganeswaran, the neighbor guy's flat. And over there, they were talking with each other, getting to know each other. And at that point, these three teenagers come to know that the house owner, the Puganeswaran guy, 21-year-old, he is the lover of his neighbor lady, Annama. Like, Harichandran literally introduces this friend of his, saying that he is the boyfriend of his neighbor's wife. Yeah, these teenage boys learn about that. So after coming to know about their love affair, whatever, they were still hanging out, and suddenly they were given some cash to go and buy alcohol. So Geethavan, one of the teenager, he goes out and buys vodka. Now all these three teenagers, the really young ones, following the fourth guy, Harichandran, they all go back to Harichandran's house and they drink up the alcohol. Finishing up the vodka, by then it's somewhere early into the night. They were not drunk by any means, but they were tipsy, They were still sober, but they were somewhat tipsy, in high spirits. And Harichandran, this fourth guy, brings these three teenagers back to Puganeswaran's flat, the neighbor guy's flat. The boys are in Puganeswaran's house. They were having a merry old time, talking, hanging out. And that's when Annama, the wife, she started making her way. She shows up to Puganeswaran's house. So she was there with these five boys. And that's when Puganeswaran, the neighbor guy, the lover boy, he decided to deliver his pitch. He says, Ganeshan, he is a bad husband. He makes Annama do bad things, dirty things for other men. So he must die, he says. And he continues saying that you boys, pointing to the boys in his house, the 18-year-old and the teenagers, he points to all of them and be like, you guys are going to be doing it. And as return for your favor, I would give each of you 5,000 Malaysian ringgit from the husband's retirement fund. Can you believe this plan that they're doing, this plan that they're plotting? I have no word, because this is the most stupidest, mediocre plan I have ever heard. But yeah, that was Puganeswaran's foolproof plan to get rid of Ganeshan, the husband, using these boys, and he would pay each of them 5,000, a mere 5,000 Malaysian ringgit. These boys, they didn't talk back as well. They were all sitting and listening and getting all encouraged, I guess. They were like, yeah, we are going to do this. What is going on? If me at that point over there, I would have been like, okay, this is starting to get crazy. Let's get out of here. I don't know whether it was the alcohol or what, but yeah, they were all there. After the pitch, they planned the entire thing in detail, right? The plan was Annama would signal Puganeswaran, her lover, by giving a missed call once her husband is back and sound asleep. And then she was to unlock her front door and her front gate. Then when the boys enter, she was to give one of the boys a pillow that he could use to smother her husband. Another teenager were to hold down his leg, and Harichandran, the fourth guy, who was 18 years old, he was the one to stab the husband to death. Yeah, that was their detailed plan for that night. At roughly about 2 a.m. right now, it's already the 16th of February 2012, the next day. into the midnight, right? So they were waiting and the signal came. Annama gave a missed call to Puganeswaran, her boyfriend, and the gang assembled. And sure enough, the grill gate and the front door, they were unlocked and opened for them. So the whole gang, the boy gang, they slowly entered. While all this was happening, let me remind you, Puganeswaran, the guy who made the plan, the lover, he is still in his house, all right? He's not joining these boys. So these four boys are slowly entering into the victim's house. Once they were nearby the victim, one of the teenager named Vignesan, yeah, he got freaked out. He got freaked out and he started running out of the victim's house. Because he ran, the other started following him as well in the order of Gidavan next, Darshan, and then Harichandran. The whole plan was ruined. They all ran back to Pugneswaran's house, the neighbor's house. Once they were there and everything settled a little bit, Harichandran, the fourth guy, he started berating the boys. He shouts, "You cowards, man up. What the hell is wrong with you guys?" Shouting starts to happen between them. He even spanks one of the boys with a knife on his back, and Puganeswaran, the lover boy, he even slaps one of the boys. Soon, they started threatening the teenage boys. They said, quote, "If you guys did not do this, if you guys don't go through with this plan, we will make sure that we kill you." Yeah, they were threatening the boys, saying that they would kill them if they did not kill the victim. That's when one of the boys, the boy that actually freaked out first, he spoke up and started saying that they are scared, that they don't want to do it. All this thing is really, really scary. So Puganeswaran thought in his wonderful mind that this would be the great time to conduct a ritual. Puganeswaran performs a Hindu puja in his house. In the middle of the puja, he places a machete and then later on takes the machete, rubs it with holy ash, and then hands it over to the frightened boy, Vignesan, asking him to hold on to it and telling him that the machete is blessed. He also says that don't worry no more. After this, everything will go according to plan. Yeah, so just like that, the second attempt was scheduled. It's around 2:45 a.m. at this point, and Annama does her job again. She gives a missed call to Puganeswaran, signaling them that the coast is clear and the gate was open still. And this time, the boys go on and they do carry out their plan. While entering, Darshan, one of the teenagers, he got the pillow. Gidavan was told to hold on to the victim's leg, and as per the first plan, Harichandran was to stab the victim. Now, I do need to mention the murder weapon is not the machete. No, this was a knife that was given to Harichandran. Inside the flat, the victim was sleeping, and at the moment of attack, Darshan, with the pillow, he started pressing the pillow onto the victim's face. Gidavan was holding down the victim's leg the best as he could, and Harichandran plunged his knife into the unsuspecting victim. While Vignesan, the boy who was given the machete, he just stood behind Harichandran, behind the boy who is stabbing. So he's just standing behind the boy with the machete in his hands and just looking at everything that's happening right before his eyes. The victim now awoke in a panic, started screaming, shouting, bleeding from his chest, and all four boys starting to run out of the victim's flat. And while running, Vignesan, the boy with the machete, he threw the machete into the victim's living room while running out. The victim, now covered in blood, attempting to chase after these boys, but unfortunately he collapses outside of his flat on the corridor right in front of Puganeswaran, the neighbor guy's flat, like right in front of his flat corridor. He collapses there, starts bleeding. Annama, now putting on an act, started shouting and screaming, asking for help. And neighbors were alerted, crowds started to gather, and the police and ambulance, they reached in about 20 minutes time. The forensic pathologist later would determine the cause of the death was due to massive blood loss that was caused by very deep stab wounds around the victim's chest and kidney area. The knife, the murder weapon, that would never be found. There is an alleged claim saying that the knife was disposed by being thrown into a river in Klang. scuba team did try to go in, investigation team did try to go in and find for the knife, but it would never be retrieved. They said that the current might have been too strong and would have pushed it further front or back. No idea, so it was never found. The next day, 17th of February 2012, Bhubaneswaran was arrested. Yeah, so easy. The next day itself. During the interrogation, he claimed that he only discovered the whole thing after hearing crazy commotion outside of his flat. Allegedly, his front door was being knocked at frantically, and when he rushed to go and open, he saw Annama shouting, screaming, asking for his help. When he looked behind Annama's husband's body was already lying on the corridor with a pool of blood. Everything outside was chaos. That was the only thing that he saw, it seems. Also, in his defense, he insisted that police forced confessions from him by threatening to assault his parents. Yeah, he said all of that after doing all the plan. What are you thinking, Mr. Bhubaneswaran? While the wife, Annama, she claimed that night she was sleeping on the sofa in her living room. Her husband returned back home late and requested her to make something for him to eat, and he went on to changing his work clothes. So she said that she locked the gate and the front door. She went to the kitchen to prepare something for her husband to eat. But when she returned, she saw her husband was already sleeping in their room. So she put away the food, she turned off the lights, and she returned back to the living room sofa and slept back again. She was then awakened to the screaming of her husband, and when she opened her eyes, she saw 3 persons running out of her house. She stood strongly by the fact that she did not leave the gate nor the door of her house open. So she said that she does not know how these individuals could enter into her house. She also tried spinning stories saying that the police has tortured her into signing 10 to 11 blank pages taking in her signature. Annama was arrested 9 p.m. after the funeral of her husband, the victim, on the same day, 17th of February 2012. Finally, Harichandran, the 4th guy, the 18-year-old, the stabber, he mentioned that he was in Bhubaneswaran's house, and both he and Bhubaneswaran, they were watching a movie and did not know anything that was happening outside until they started hearing the commotion. He mentioned that nobody entered or left their flat that night. All these claims, all these defenses by these 3 individuals were largely rejected by the court, by the investigation team. They were all rejected. Prosecution's case heavily depended on that 3 teenage accomplices who were very quickly arrested, and soon they turned into witnesses. Courts treated their accounts credible despite their age and their involvement in the crime itself. None of the 3 boys' stories ever changed. No matter how many times they were interrogated, no matter how many times they were asked to relive or recount the whole night's incident, none of their stories changed. It stayed the same. The court found corroboration, evidence that Annama indeed had opened the front door and passed the pillow to one of the boys. Also, the blood pattern from the victim in the corridor, that matched exactly to the boys' story. Even the timeline aligned perfectly. The judge found that the murder was not a sudden act, but a well-planned and coordinated killing made by Bhubaneswaran, the neighbor guy, Annama, the wife, and Harichandran, Bhubaneswaran's friend. All 3 of them played a clear role in this crime. Finally, the trial court found all 3 of them, Bhubaneswaran, Annama, Harichandran, guilty of murder under the section 302 of the Penal Code with common intention. The first 2 adults, Annama, the wife, and her lover, Bhubaneswaran, who was 21-year-old at that time. So both of these were adults. So they were sentenced to death by hanging. Yeah, the gallows. And Harichandran, he was a teenager. He was still 18. So he got detention at the pleasure of the Sultan. Yeah. As he was still a juvenile, that was the maximum sentence that could be given to him. So, yeah. But later, on the 21st of June 2024, not too long ago, just last year, the Federal Court of Malaysia commuted the death sentence of Bhubaneswaran and Annama to 36 years of imprisonment, starting the 17th of February 2012, the day that they were arrested. Bhubaneswaran was also given 12 stroke of the cane. So when you think about it, the 36-year imprisonment time started back in 2012. So if you make the calculation, they would be finishing their 36-year in prison roughly in about the end of 2040s. Yeah, 2048 if I'm not mistaken, 2049, they would be done. Wow. They made this diabolical evil plan and killed a person. They escaped the gallows and just 36 years in prison, which started from the day that they were arrested. Sometimes I really do think, Anyways, now details on the 3 teenage accomplices turned witnesses. Details on them is just not clear. I could not find any details on them. I don't know whether they did any time in juvenile prison or an actual prison, or did they got any sort of punishment. I just could not find. I don't know why. I tried going through a lot of articles, newspapers, this, that, pages, websites. I could not find a clear detail. I finally even resorted to ChatGPT, the AI site. Even that said, it's unclear. So I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what happened to those 3 teenagers out there. If you guys know, please do let me know. I would love to know that. I understand that this was not something they wanted to be involved in, but they kind of got trapped. They were afraid, they wanted out of it. They didn't want to do it, but those two, Bhubaneswaran and Harichandran, they threatened these boys. And one of those boys, they were so scared, but yeah, what happened to them? I don't have an idea. I don't have the details. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. So now, thinking about this case, this is something that could have been avoided. There had been so many stories that led up to this murder that could have gone different, and this whole thing just did not happen. And if you really think about it, the only victim that I could think of in this whole thing is the toddler child that Ganeshan and Annama had. The child lost the father and also the mother in 2 days, right? What kind of life would she be living? The trauma that she would have in her life, I just don't know. Crazy, right? The boys, the 3 teenagers, one of them, when he ran out of the house, could have just ran out of that flat itself, not go back to Bhubaneswaran's house, run to someone, run to the parents, do something about it, run to the police, and they could have escaped this horrible thing. That's what I'm trying to say. A lot of things could have gone differently, that this murder would have not happened, but it happened. Here we are. That is why I'm saying we gotta make good choices in life. Really, we gotta make some wise choices, some good choices, so that we don't go and end up getting caught into these kind of stuff, right? Whew. With that, you guys, we have literally come to the end of this video. I understand that this has been a long one, many names. I really hope I did a good job. I really hope I narrated the story in a way that you guys could understand. If I could make it even better, just let me know nicely, please, in the comment section. I would really appreciate that. Maybe I could work on that in the future videos. If you guys liked it, please, as per usual, leave a thumbs up. That will really make me happy. And leave a comment on what you thought. Share it with someone who never knew about this case, right? And I almost forgot, subscribe. Please do go down there, click on the subscribe button. That will really encourage me to make even more. That will really help my channel to grow, because I'm really trying to grow this channel. It's a really slow growth. So it will really help if you guys like this type of videos and you subscribe. Yeah, it's free. So yup. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have time to spare, please do click on my next video. Hope you guys visit me back again. And until then, stay safe out there. Make smart choices, make good choices in life. Don't be like these three teenagers here making bad choices. So stay safe, take care, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.